I thank the chair. I would just do a quick response, and then I'll be happy to yield to Mr. Tiffany, Mr. Chairman. An FBI that has a field office, the Richmond field office, which puts out a memo, and the memo says if you're a pro-life Catholic, you're an extremist, you're a radical, and we're going to look to put sources inside the parish, inside the church to spy on you. I do think we should evaluate how the American tax dollar going to that organization is being spent. That to me seems common sense. And we know that happened because a brave whistleblower came to this committee and said this was going on in Richmond. Now, to the FBI's credit, they rescinded that memorandum, what they call a domain perspective. But would they have done that but for that brave whistleblower coming forward and telling us that? When you got that kind of activity going on and a host of other things that this committee has uncovered, I do think you have to look at the appropriations process and make a decision there. Maybe some of the tax money going to this organization should be spent a little differently. That's what this committee has said. A number of us have said. We're not for taking it away from the rank and file, the good agents out there in the field doing good work, but we are for looking at things like that and saying maybe you shouldn't be getting all the money you're getting.
Will the gentleman yield?
No, I will not till I finish.
The gentleman yield?
I will not until I finish here. That's what we're concerned about. But you read that memo, and they were looking to put sources, develop informants inside the church if you're a pro-life, pro-family Catholic.
Will you yield
Think
now?
about that. That is frightening. And remember, this was signed off on by 5 people in the Richmond field office, including the chief divisional counsel. In other words, a lawyer signed off on it, a lawyer who supposedly went to law school and had a course on the Constitution and the First Amendment. And they signed off on it. And the Democrats say, keep giving the FBI money. We don't care that kind of activity. They rescinded that thing as quick as they could, but that was going on within the FBI. So heck yes, this committee should look at that. We have primary jurisdiction over the Justice Department, and we are doing that. We are doing that, but that is as wrong as it gets, as blatant a violation of First Amendment liberties. The first right in the First Amendment is your right to practice your faith, and the FBI was looking at putting sources in the church to snitch and spy on parishioners.
Mr. Chairman,
You've got to
will
be
you yield?
kidding me. Be happy to yield.
Thank you very much. So it seems to me that it is very clear you support defunding the FBI.
I didn't say that. I said we got to look at one of the things we do in this business in this Congress is you look at how you appropriate funds, and we will have recommendations going to the Appropriations Committee about how they should use the people I represent in the 4th District of Ohio, the numerous Catholics I represent in the 4th District of Ohio. They have a say in how their money is spent. We are certainly going to look at that. If you don't want to, if you just want to keep sending money to the FBI that's spying on people in church, go right ahead and take that position. The Republicans on this committee will not, and we're going to look at it. You may not want to, but we do. We do, and I guarantee, I bet you have Catholics in your district who want you to look at it. I know I do, and that's what we plan on doing. With that, I yield back to the chairman. I yield to the gentleman. I'm sorry. I'll yield back to the gentleman. I'll yield to the gentleman from Louisiana then.
With the 90 seconds that remain, I thank the gentleman for yielding. I would just say, listen, this is not just an interest of ours. We have a responsibility under the Constitution to look into this and make sure that these dollars are being spent in a way that comports with the Constitution. We all recognize the FBI has a critical function in our system of justice. Obviously, the problem is right now, and the reason we're so wound up and concerned, and our constituents are, is because that agency has been weaponized, like all the others, to do political bidding. And so it's not able to do the job that it's supposed to be doing because we have all these abuses. So yes, we are doggedly determined to get that agency back in line. Why? Because it does have such a critical function. We're going to fund the FBI, but we want to fund it in a way that makes sense, that comports with the law, and is responsible to the taxpayers who are supporting it. So look, we can't get to that soon enough. And we will devote every ounce of energy to it because we have to save our system of justice. Because right now, everybody in this room knows, the polling affirms what we know intuitively. The faith of the American people in our institutions are at all-time lows. They're lower than the president's approval rating, and that's scary. And it gets worse every day, and if in a constitutional republic the people do not respect the system of justice, we're all in trouble. With that, I yield back.